I bolted upright in my chair the moment the phone rang, my heart hammering so hard I could barely hear the voice on the other end. It was just after midnight. The nurse from my mother's nursing home in suburban Illinois sounded calm, but something in her tone sent chills through me. "Your mom's taken a turn," she said gently. My breath caught. I felt an immediate sense of urgency, like someone had thrown me headfirst into an unfolding drama. In that single moment, I realized how quickly life can shift for our elderly loved ones. Driving through the dark streets, I replayed the past few weeks in my mind. Had I missed any signs? She'd lost a lot of weight recently, seemed weaker, and had been sleeping more. But I brushed it off as just getting older. Now I was wondering if it was something more serious, something that could have been a subtle warning that her time was nearing its end. If you've ever felt that crushing anxiety, worrying about your parent, grandparent, or elder relative, know that you're not alone. Many families across the United States face these same fears daily. This guide explores 6 signs that may indicate an elderly person is in their final year. Signs you shouldn't ignore. Stay with me. Sign 1. Persistent and unexplained weight loss. It started so subtly that I almost didn't notice it. My mother had always been a petite woman, but lately her clothes were hanging on her shoulders more than usual. She'd tighten her belt to the last hole, and her favorite sweatshirt looked like it was 2 sizes too large. If you're witnessing similar changes in your loved one, it might be time to pay attention. Weight loss in seniors often goes beyond simple dietary preferences. It can be a critical red flag that their body is transitioning into a more delicate phase. One evening, as I helped Mom with dinner, I saw she was having trouble finishing even a small portion of mashed potatoes. "I just don't have an appetite," she sighed. At first, I thought maybe she was bored with the usual menu, but the truth can be far more layered. When an elderly body nears its final stage, metabolic changes occur. Vital organs like the digestive system may not function as efficiently, leading to poor nutrient absorption. Sometimes underlying health conditions like cancer or chronic organ failure can also manifest as steady or sudden weight loss. Even depression or a diminished sense of taste can play a role, making meals less appealing. If you suspect significant weight loss, consider these bullet points for clarity. Clothing fit. Notice if their clothes are draping loosely or if they keep adjusting waistbands. Eating habits. Watch for decreased appetite or reluctance to eat foods they once enjoyed. Nutritional impact. Look out for fatigue, muscle weakness, or signs of dehydration. Medical evaluation. Schedule a checkup with a healthcare provider to rule out treatable conditions. You're not alone if you feel a surge of panic at the thought that unexplained weight loss could mean your loved one is approaching the final chapter of life. Many families across the country experience the same wave of realization, often with a sense of guilt. If only I'd noticed sooner. However, spotting these changes early isn't about conjuring a dramatic end. It's about understanding what their body is trying to communicate. Knowledge can lead to better care and ultimately more peaceful final moments. It's easy to feel overwhelmed or helpless, but remember, small steps can have a powerful impact. You might offer high-calorie supplements, consult a dietitian, or simply prepare meals that remind them of comforting times, like a favorite Sunday pot roast or a classic chicken soup. If they still lose weight despite these efforts, it might be time to initiate deeper conversations with healthcare professionals. If this resonates with you, consider leaving a comment below, maybe type 2 to let us know you're following along, or share your personal experiences in the comments section. Your story could help someone else realize they're not alone. After all, many families go through this, and together we can find solace. Sign 2. Unrelenting fatigue and decreased mobility. The second time my mom's nurse called me late at night, it wasn't about an emergency event like a sudden fall or difficulty breathing. It was simpler yet deeply concerning. Mom was too exhausted to get out of bed for dinner. After spending my entire day glued to my phone, worried about another call, I finally drove over. The sight of her was jarring. She was awake, yet her eyes were heavy. Even forming a sentence seemed to require more effort than usual. As I helped her shuffle a few steps to the living room sofa, her legs trembled. It felt like the entire weight of her body was pressing down, and she was fighting just to stand. Unrelenting fatigue in seniors can feel like a slow, steady wave that overtakes their daily life. This isn't just a lazy afternoon nap or the normal tiredness that comes with aging. It's a persistent, bone-deep exhaustion that doesn't improve with a good night's sleep. Over time, even small tasks like brushing hair, walking to the mailbox, or chatting on the phone can seem impossible. Let's break this down into bullet points for clarity. Excessive sleep. They may start sleeping for longer stretches, yet still wake up feeling drained. Declining physical strength. Activities that once felt easy, such as gardening or a light stroll, become cumbersome. Social withdrawal. Engaging in conversation or meeting with friends might seem too exhausting. Risk of falls. Weakness can lead to poor balance, increasing the danger of slips or falls around the house. Physically, as the body nears the final year, it often prioritizes essential functions. That means limited energy gets allocated to digestion, circulation, or even mental clarity, leaving less for everyday tasks. Mentally, the sensation of constant fatigue can also contribute to feelings of frustration or depression, creating a cycle that makes them withdraw further. You're not alone if you've felt helpless seeing your elderly loved ones so depleted. Many families throughout the United States grapple with this emotional toll. Perhaps you've tried coaxing them into exercise or convinced them to schedule a checkup, only to discover there's little that modern medicine can do beyond supportive measures. The reality is that sometimes the body is preparing for a deeper transition. However, if you're noticing any signs of improvement or even subtle upticks in energy, grab onto that hope. Gentle physical therapy, low-impact chair exercises, or mindful breathing exercises can provide small boosts. Be sure to consult with healthcare professionals before implementing any new routines. Above all, remember that providing emotional support, like simply sitting beside them or holding their hand, can often be more powerful than pushing them physically. If this is striking a chord, leave a quick comment with the number 4 below to join our community of caregivers and family members. We're in this together. Noticeable cognitive changes or confusion. One sunny afternoon, I brought Mom a cup of tea, the same black tea with a touch of honey that she'd enjoyed since I was a kid. She looked at me, her gaze clouded with confusion, and asked, "Who are you again?" That moment hit me like a punch in the gut. For a split second, I couldn't breathe. It was as if the room spun around me and my chest tightened with heartbreak. Although she recognized me minutes later, the fear lingered. Was she losing her memory for good? Or was this just a passing lapse? Cognitive changes, whether it's mild forgetfulness, disorientation, or episodes of confusion, can be another subtle but significant sign that an elderly person's body and mind are preparing for a final chapter. In the United States, conditions like Alzheimer's or dementia are prevalent among older adults, but even those who haven't been formally diagnosed can exhibit cognitive decline as their health worsens. Let's pinpoint how these symptoms might present. Memory lapses. They might forget familiar faces or recent events, asking the same questions repeatedly. Disorientation. They could get confused about where they are, what time of day it is, or what season it is. Trouble communicating. Forming coherent sentences or finding the right words can be challenging. Changes in personality. You might notice irritability, mood swings, or sudden emotional outbursts. It's deeply unsettling to watch someone you love lose pieces of their identity. Perhaps they forget your name, or they no longer recall cherished family traditions. Age is an issue of mind over matter, Mark Twain once quipped. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. While that quote might bring a smile, the reality is more nuanced for those experiencing cognitive changes. There's heartbreak in the loss of shared memories. You might feel helpless, even guilty, worrying you're not doing enough. Many families find themselves thinking, if only we'd seen the signs sooner, maybe we could have intervened. Yet, the truth is that some cognitive decline can be part of the natural closing of the body's chapters, especially if other health issues are at play. Medical interventions might provide brief improvement or slow the process, but they often don't halt it entirely. At this juncture, empathy matters greatly. Offer a gentle approach, slow down your speech, maintain eye contact, and limit background noise. Consider labeling rooms or items if confusion becomes frequent, and be mindful of emotional cues. Sometimes agitation or anger can stem from a simple inability to express confusion or fear. Remember, you're not alone. This journey is shared by countless Americans caring for aging relatives. If you've got a personal experience to share or words of encouragement for others, drop a comment with the number 2 or 4 below. We thrive on communal wisdom. Sign 4. Recurring infections and slow recovery. Shortly after Mom started showing signs of confusion, she caught a seemingly minor cold that simply wouldn't go away. Week after week, she was coughing, battling a low-grade fever, and feeling more fatigued than ever. Antibiotics helped at first, but the respite was short-lived. Another infection cropped up, a urinary tract infection this time, and it hit her like a freight train, leaving her weak and disoriented. It became clear that each new infection took a deeper toll on her body. This recurring pattern of illness and slow healing is a major warning sign that an elderly person may be entering their final year of life. The immune system, which once fought off invaders with relative ease, becomes frail. White blood cells aren't as robust, and the body's natural defenses lose their effectiveness, leading to frequent bouts of illness that linger longer than they used to. Consider these bullet points to understand the warning signs. Repeated illnesses, colds, flus, UTIs, and pneumonia occurring more often and lasting longer. Persistent low-grade fevers. Body temperature regulation can be compromised, sometimes masking or prolonging infections. Wound healing issues. Even minor cuts or scrapes can take an unusually long time to heal, sometimes leading to complications. Hospital visits. Multiple ER trips or hospital admissions for what used to be routine infections. When these infections come one after another, it's not just physically draining, it's emotionally shattering for both the patient and their family. Hospitals in America see countless seniors readmitted because the underlying issue isn't fully resolved, or because their weakened immune system can't fight off a new infection. Many families ask themselves, are we missing something? Is there a better medication out there? But in some cases, the constant cycle of illness is the body's way of signaling that it is nearing the end of its natural journey. In moments like these, you may feel compelled to do everything possible. Stronger antibiotics, more tests, specialist consultations. While those steps can sometimes provide temporary relief, they can also be exhausting for someone whose body is already worn down. Balancing the goal of extending life with preserving comfort becomes a delicate act. The key is to involve your loved one in these decisions if possible, respecting their wishes and limitations. "You're not alone" isn't just a phrase. It's a reminder that countless American families wrestle with these very dilemmas. Don't forget that support networks, whether through local community centers, online forums, or by commenting with a simple 2 or 4 here, can offer comfort, shared experiences, and guidance. Besides significant help in breathing or circulation. A couple of weeks after my mom's last hospitalization, I found her in the living room, propped up on 2 pillows, breathing in shallow, uneven gasps. Her hands felt icy and her fingernails had a faint bluish tint. Alarm shot through me. Was she cold? Was she in pain? She managed to whisper, "I'm just so tired," before drifting off into a restless doze. That was when I realized this was more than just another difficult day. These were signs that her breathing and circulation were compromised, something often seen when seniors are nearing the end of life. Changes in breathing can vary. Some older adults develop Cheyne-Stokes respiration, where their breathing rhythm alternates between shallow gasps and deeper breaths, followed by a period of no breathing at all. Others may frequently gasp for air or wheeze as fluid builds up in the lungs. Circulatory issues often manifest through cold extremities, a bluish or pale complexion, or even swelling in the ankles and feet. Let's outline the key warning signs in bullet points. Irregular breathing patterns, noticeably slower or faster breathing, sudden gasps or extended pauses. Swelling, hands, feet, or ankles may swell due to poor circulation. Cool or discolored skin, particularly in the fingers, toes, and lips. Fatigue with minimal exertion. Simple tasks like talking or sitting up can leave them breathless. If you're seeing these patterns, don't panic, but do take them seriously. The reason behind these changes could be an underlying cardiac issue, reduced lung capacity, or fluid buildup. Physicians might recommend palliative treatments such as supplemental oxygen or medications to ease labored breathing. However, it's also crucial to recognize these symptoms for what they often are: the body signaling its readiness for rest. The emotional impact of watching your loved one struggle for breath cannot be overstated. You want to fix it, to help them breathe more easily, to alleviate their discomfort. Many families debate whether to call 911 and leave them to the hospital again. Sometimes acute medical intervention can help, but in advanced stages it might also cause more stress. Knowing when to focus on comfort care instead can be the gentlest gift you can offer. Remember that you're not alone in feeling this kind of anxiety. Many families in America face the same heart-wrenching crossroads. It may bring you some solace to talk it out, either with a support group or even by leaving a comment with 2 or 4 below, letting others know they're not navigating this emotional storm by themselves. 6. Emotional withdrawal and a deeper sense of detachment. When my mom started pulling away from daily conversations, I initially assumed she was just having a bad day, but the pattern persisted. She stopped calling her old friends, even though she used to love chatting about her high school memories in a small American town back in the 1950s. "I'll call them later," she'd say, but the phone never left its cradle. The lively glimmer in her eyes dulled as she seemed to retreat into herself. This emotional withdrawal was perhaps the most painful sign for me to witness, yet it's also one that many seniors exhibit when nearing their final year. Emotional withdrawal doesn't always manifest as a dramatic shift. Often it starts with short responses, a reluctance to engage in lengthy talks, or opting out of family gatherings. Over time, it can evolve into a near-complete detachment. Some individuals become indifferent to former interests. They no longer care about their favorite TV shows, hobbies, or even daily routines. Others may still show up physically but seem distant, almost like they're present in body yet absent in spirit. In bullet points, here's what to watch for. Reduce social interaction. They might prefer isolation, skip gatherings, or avoid phone calls. Lack of interest. Hobbies or rituals they once cherished no longer seem to spark joy. Minimal emotional response. They could seem unmoved by news, good or bad, and remain quiet. Subdued mood. Subtle signs of depression or sadness that persist or grow over time. Why does this detachment occur? Sometimes it's a psychological response. As the body nears its natural endpoint, the mind might prepare by gradually disconnecting from the world. On the physiological side, declining organ function and chronic fatigue can make social activities feel overwhelming. The person may also experience depression or a sense of resignation that further contributes to their isolation. It's a tough pill to swallow when your loved one seems to slip away emotionally before they're gone in a physical sense. You might wrestle with guilt, confusion, or fear. Yet remember, the greatest healing therapy is friendship and love, said Hubert Humphrey. While they might not reciprocate affection in the same way, never underestimate the impact of your steady, gentle presence. Even sitting silently beside them can offer comfort beyond words. If you're watching someone you love drift away emotionally, consider checking in with a counselor, joining a caregiver support group, or seeking spiritual guidance if that's meaningful to your family. You're not alone. Countless Americans walk this path every day. Feel free to share a note or drop a quick 4 below so we can build a network of compassion and understanding. Perhaps the most important lesson I learned from my mother's final year was that no amount of denial can stall the natural progression of life. We can't always prevent the inevitable, but we can prepare for it. Each of these 6 signs, persistent weight loss, unrelenting fatigue, cognitive decline, recurring infections, significant changes in breathing or circulation, and emotional withdrawal, can serve as an early warning system that your loved one's journey might be winding down. Recognizing these subtle cues can enable you to make informed decisions, engage in meaningful conversations, and offer comfort that aligns with their deepest needs. Now, I'm inviting you to take a small but crucial action. If any of these signs resonate with your current situation, please share a quick comment below. Maybe just type 2 if you've seen some of these changes, or 4 if you're already seeking professional help. When you do, you're letting others know that they're not alone. Many families across the United States are dealing with these same concerns, fears, and heartbreaks. This solidarity can be a tremendous source of relief and encouragement. Moreover, consider subscribing to our channel for more resources on elder care, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss upcoming videos. Share this content with friends or family who could benefit. Together, we can spark a collective discussion that helps everyone navigate these challenging times with clarity and compassion. Before I wrap up, I want to leave you with a piece of wisdom that carried me through my darkest hours. In the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years, a line often attributed to Abraham Lincoln. This reminds us that although we can't stretch time indefinitely, we can infuse the time that remains with love, dignity, and meaning. Whether that's sitting quietly beside your loved one, reminiscing about cherished memories, or simply holding a hand in the silence of a room, these small acts can transcend fear and bring profound comfort. This journey is never easy, but you don't have to walk it alone. By recognizing the signs, acting with empathy, and turning to others for support, you can ensure that when life's final stage arrives, it's approached with preparation, compassion, and an understanding heart. Thank you for being here, and may you find peace and strength in every step ahead.